Hi everyone, this is going to be the long-awaited market update. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we've seen in 2023 and what the crystal ball says for 2024. I don't have all of this memorized just because there was too much information to pass on, so I'm going to read some of this to you. So I'll ask you to pardon me from looking down some. I'm going to start with 2023 and what we've seen in the market and how it was for Steger's Realty Partners. Can't speak to every other real estate agent and what they experienced, but I can speak to what we experienced. So 2023 is what I call the year of change. It started really in October, November of 2022, and then in 2023 we experienced more interest rate hikes, longer time on market, and really a shift out of a very strong seller's market back to a more traditional balanced market. Now, balanced market is 5 to 6 months, and there are some areas in town that are still at 4 months or a little less, but none of them are in a market of 2 to 3 months or 30 days or less like we've seen coming out of COVID. So it's been a year of adjustment last year because most people did not plan well. They still expected to sell in 30 days. They still thought that they could push price way too high and not win the beauty contest. And all of that shifted. Unfortunately for some, it meant quite a few price drops to get priced right. It also meant that you had to wait a lot longer to find the buyer to purchase your home. And if you didn't plan well, that unfortunately caused some people to lease out their house. In addition to that, we've seen for the first time at the end of last year, some people upside down on their home. They bought at the peak. Rule of thumb has always been that it takes about 3 years to break even here in San Antonio due to our just steady appreciation instead of the massive appreciation we've seen in COVID. So unfortunately for those people, especially if they were where new home builders were and they slashed their prices last year, they found themselves going to have to write a check to sell, which we have not seen in a long time, or the fact that they needed to rent it and they were upside down on their rent as well. So what is the projection as we move into 2024, and what was our ending outlook at 2023 for Steger's Realty Partners? We still had a fantastic year in 2023 because we like to be in front of the ball or even with the ball instead of behind it when we look at assisting people in purchasing and selling. That's important that you stay on top of the market, which is why I've waited to give you guys this update, because I was really looking at what information I could pass on about what everybody else thought it was going to be besides just myself. So 2023 was still a steady year for us, and that is the key word. It was steady. Wasn't awesome, but it certainly wasn't bad. Just a readjustment year. Now, what are we seeing moving into 2024, and what are my predictions? We're still going to see a little bit of adjustment and stability, being a little more on the flatter side. We're going to see some increased value, but not at the speed that we've seen it. So we're back to more of what I call a traditional market and also traditional selling seasons, which means January and February a little slower. March is when buyers start picking up. People start looking at that school rotation. And then again, as we head into late summer, it's what I call the vacation month, and school starting, it'll slow down a little. And then after September, the beginning of September holiday, we'll see it start to pick back up until about the 1st of December. So that's what I call a traditional selling market. That means if you're looking to sell this year, you need to plan on being on the market for a while, because days on market have gone up a lot. Somewhere from 77 days, 80 days to 120 days. And this is where we like to get very specific because it's different in every zip code in this town. There are some areas that still have no housing available, and they sell much quicker than the rest of San Antonio. Pricing, it's being negotiated. So whatever price you have, expect to negotiate some. I am not seeing massive negotiations unless somebody just drastically overpriced to begin with. I am still seeing multiple offers in a few places in San Antonio, and prices overall are staying pretty steady and firm. Where we're seeing the issues is where there are new homes, because they slashed prices last year. They also had very deep pockets to give away money to lower interest rates. But I expect for the rest of this year, you are not going to see those same incentives. We all have finally normalized to higher interest rates. Been a 50-50 on whether rates are going to drop this year or not, and my answer and my crystal ball says they're going to stay just about the same, because you can't have anybody making their mind up on that answer. They'll probably drop a little because it's an election year in third quarter, because that's what they do when they want to be popular again. So that's my crystal ball on interest rates. They're pretty much staying the same. My crystal ball for the rest of this year is we will see it steady as she goes. You need to plan with effective time to sell, not expect to put the house on the market and be gone in 30 days. For most people, those days are over. It is going to take a while depending on where you are to sell. So plan accordingly so you do not put yourself in a position you don't want to be. It's also back to pricing it correctly. Because of the interest rates, buyers are money conscious, and they do not, and most will not, overpay for a house. We also do not have the influx of buyers that we had through about the end of 2022 when it stopped. So you're seeing, again, cyclical buyers and a trickling of buyers, not a mass migration in. The other thing that I've noticed is you're going to need to put the house on the market staged correctly and win the beauty contest. That will help ensure that you get sold. Most people are not into remodeling right now because of the cost of money. If you are a buyer buying, you are now looking at comparables and making sure that you are buying at a price that is reasonable. And we don't have any buyers going in and going, nope, I'll pay any price to get that. Now, where is the one exception I'm seeing to some of these things that I have projected? The luxury market. The luxury market is still holding sounder than the rest of the market. They have a little less impact by interest rates. That market is still seeing pretty good returns and also interest if they are winning the beauty contest and have it priced right. Now let's go through some of the stats since the beginning of this year. And so that's last year, this year. My whole crystal ball is going to be steady as she goes. Not any worse than last year, probably slightly better.